Alright, hello friends. Obviously I'm not in my craft room. This is a hotel room. Also, finding a place to film in here where I'm not being blinded by the sun is very difficult. I guess that's what I get for booking a corner room. Anyway, if you couldn't tell by the title of this video, this is a little bit of a different style of video. I'm doing a vlog taking you on my trip with me to San Francisco. I am hoping to see a couple of crafting friends while I'm here, more to come on that. But I'm really just here for kind of a solo vacation getaway. For some reason calling it a vacation seems weird, but it's a solo getaway recharge for my soul. Working from home by myself all day can get pretty tiresome and monotonous, and I was just kind of feeling like I needed to get away, have a change of scenery for a little bit. And Adam, bless his heart, is very busy with work, and I said, all right, you stay and work, but I gotta get out of here. I chose San Francisco, one, because as you might know, if you've been following the channel for a while, I actually went to San Francisco not quite a year ago, but when I went, I loved it. I kind of fell in love with the city, which is weird because I'd been before and was kind of meh about it. But when I went back that last time, I was like, wow, I really like the city. Also, the weather here is glorious compared to what's going on in Texas, where I live. And in terms of the types of trips that I like to take, I always enjoy doing more urban city type trips. I don't know why, I just feel like there's so much to do. And especially if you're traveling by yourself, I feel like it's really easy to kind of integrate yourself into the city and not necessarily feel like you're by yourself, if that makes sense. So I kind of just felt like there would be plenty to see and do here, and I would enjoy the weather. And if you remember from my last vlog, my therapist also moved to San Francisco a couple of years ago, so I'm also going to go see him while I'm here as well. So lots of just little reasons to come, but mostly I'm just here to get a change of scenery. Now, I thought I might vlog this trip from the beginning, but yesterday, which was my travel day here, was a little bit hectic. The plane ride itself was really easy, but the trip from the airport to my hotel was chaotic. I probably should have just called an Uber, but whenever I'm... But all that to say, that is why I didn't start vlogging yesterday. I was just trying to get into the flow. Honestly, I was hangry and cranky. But alas, I did end up going to dinner last night after finally getting to the hotel and freshening up. I had a lovely solo dinner at a restaurant called Nopa, which I mentioned over on my Instagram story that I dine alone a lot for like breakfast and lunch, but I don't know why going out to dinner by myself has always felt so intimidating. I know no one cares, and the servers don't care, the other people in the restaurants don't care, but I told myself on this trip I'm gonna take myself out to dinner and enjoy it. So that's what I did, and had a wonderful bowl of pasta and bread, a cocktail, some wine, and had a really lovely time. And eating by yourself for dinner wasn't as scary as I thought it would be. Now, the funny thing is, when I booked this trip, and even as of a couple weeks ago, I booked it, but didn't really have any plans. I was just kind of like, okay, I'll go and figure it out when I'm there. I just figured I would spend a lot of time on my own exploring the city and just enjoying some solitude time. However, I have suddenly found myself having a lot of plans I won't bore you with what they are right now, but stay tuned and you'll find out. I just ran out for some breakfast. I grabbed a coffee and a wonderful raspberry almond croissant. Oh my God, it was so good. But now I need to go ahead and kind of freshen up, take a shower. I haven't showered yet this morning, if you can't tell. And then I am going to meet my therapist here in just a couple of hours. So I'm gonna go do that, and I hope you'll come along with me on the rest of my trip. Okay, hello. Yes, I'm in a robe. I'm very pro hotel robe. I think I mentioned that in the last vlog I made. If a hotel has a robe, I will be wearing it. You can guarantee that. After getting ready for the day, I went back out into the city and grabbed a quick lunch. I got like a little chia yogurt parfait, overnight oats. That's what it's called. Overnight oats with some fruit and chia seeds and whatever. I just wanted something a little light and healthy because I've been eating really bad. I've had 2 croissants today. On my way back from therapy, I stopped at a bakery that everyone on my Instagram has been telling me I need to go to, called I'm gonna butcher this, Aristocult. I don't know. I haven't actually said the word out loud, and I haven't taken the time to, enunciate it, but I'll put it on the screen here. I got a chocolate croissant, and I will say the first bite or two, I was like, okay, I mean, it's fine. It was great, but I was like, okay, it's a chocolate croissant. But by the time I was about halfway through, I was like, this is the best chocolate croissant I've ever had. So I guess the hype is real. Anyway, all of that to say, I've been eating really terrible so far, but treat yourself. But for lunch, I wanted to do a light little overnight oat situation, which was very tasty. It definitely hit the spot. And then I walked over to my therapist's office and got to see him, which was really great. It was so nice to see him. I won't go into all the details of that because it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to you. It very much matters a lot to me. And then I walked back over to the hotel. It was like a 33 minute walk, so kind of long, but the weather, guys, is incredible. It's like a high of 67. So coming from Austin, where it's probably 95 degrees right now, you couldn't ask for anything better. And then I got back to my hotel room. I have been journaling, just kind of reflecting on my trip so far. I'm trying really hard to document my life more, not in a way that document sounds weird, but yeah, I guess that's right. Just kind of put my reflections and thoughts on paper, because I feel like over time I will thank myself being able to go back and look at things that I've written about my experiences in life. And also I think it's just a really great way to kind of process things instead of just having them all up in your head, because I am an overthinker to an extreme. And I found recently with journaling, I originally got this journal because I wanted to start junk journaling or art journaling. So the first few pages, were very visual with lots of stamps and coloring and stuff. But over time, it's actually, I don't know what's gotten into me, but I've just been writing. I mean, the last 4 or 5 pages are just full of writing. So something about putting my thoughts down on paper, I don't know, it's really jiving with me. But I spent some time just doing that. But now it is time for me to go be a little bit social. I'm gonna meet up with Rosie for dinner and drinks. If you don't know who Rosie is a member of the Hero Arts creative team. We became friends and started following each other quite a while ago, even before I was working with Hero Arts, I'm pretty sure. But she lives here in the Bay Area. I actually met up with her last time I was here, but it was in like a work capacity. But I'm out here now just chilling, and hit her up, and she was down to come into the city, so we're gonna go grab dinner and catch up, so that's exciting. Oh, by the way, are y'all familiar with this candy, Warheads Cubes? I am obsessed with these. I actually forgot that they even existed. They are Warheads, which is like sour candy, but it's a chewy, gummy kind of Warheads. Normally Warheads are really hard. And when I was younger, I remember being obsessed with these, and I forgot they even existed, but I went to a little corner store last night on the way back to my hotel and found these and got really excited. Honestly, not as good as I remember them. They're still pretty good, but not I don't know, I have them on a pedestal for some reason, but still good. Anyway, I'm rambling at this point. I probably need to go put some actual clothes on and get ready for dinner, so I'll see you in a bit. All right, hey guys, back in the hotel room, back in my robe, of course. Isn't this light in a weird place? I don't know. I feel like it's a weird placement for a light. But anyway, back in the hotel room, Golden Girls is playing on the TV over here. Fun fact, I've never actually watched an episode of Golden Girls, but it's on. Not really watching it, but it's on. But just got back from dinner with Rosie. Had a really lovely time just chatting with her and catching up and hearing what's going on in her life, talking all things card making and crafting. It's just fun to talk, about all those nerdy things that you don't necessarily get to talk about with people very often, because not everyone is neurotic and loves card making like I do. But it was fun just to get to see her and catch up. Unfortunately, I didn't really get any footage of dinner, but I don't know. I think it's nice to just hang up and hang out and unplug anyway. But I decided to call it an early night because tomorrow I am going to Alcatraz, which is something that's kind of always been on my bucket list. I don't know. I think Alcatraz, prison, island, whatever, is just kind of interesting and mysterious. I don't know, it has like an interesting allure to it. So I'm excited to go there. Apparently they have an audio tour that everyone swears by. So I think that'll be an interesting and fun activity to do solo. I've never gone to it. It's not really a museum. Would you call it a museum? But I've never been to a museum solo, and I think that solo museuming is right up my alley, because I'm one of those people that when I go to a museum, I like to read everything, or maybe not everything, but if I am reading something, I want to read it. You know what I mean? I'm not someone that just likes to zip through a museum. And so, I don't know. I feel like those types of people, it's best to go on your own maybe, because every time I've gone to a museum before, I feel like I'm always wanting to go slower than the people I'm with. I've heard that the ferry ride over to the island is really pretty, and you get a really beautiful view of San Francisco, so I think it'll be fun. Oh, also, I want to know what your hotel ritual is. Every time I check into a hotel, me and Adam like to go out and grab some items just to have in the room. For instance, always get bottled water. And I don't have it by me right now. Maybe if I roll over. Pringles. You gotta have snacks for the room. I showed you guys my Warheads earlier, which of course have been delicious. I haven't broken into the Pringles yet, but I always like to have a sweet snack and a salty snack on hand and some water. Anyway, let me know what your ritual is.
Suddenly
Hello again, friends. Obviously back in my hotel room after a very long morning slash afternoon of hopping all over the city. You probably saw a lot of the footage already, but I went to Alcatraz this morning, which was a lot of fun. Fun seems like the wrong word. It was really interesting, had a good time, although I had a little bit of a scare getting over there. I timed my mornings such that I would have just enough time to get there after calling an Uber. I looked it up and it was about a 48-minute walk, and I never really mind a walk in a city. Like, I'm one of those people, one of those obnoxious friends who's like, oh, we can walk. But I'm not doing a 48-minute walk, especially in San Francisco where there's hills around every corner. So I decided to call an Uber, but when I tried to connect to a driver, it took forever. It could not find a driver, I guess, for whatever reason. Everyone needed a ride this morning. So I opened up Lyft and tried to get a driver from Lyft. And I even did the priority ride so that I would get a driver quicker, because I was starting to get nervous that I wasn't going to make my appointment to get on the boat to Alcatraz. And they were very adamant and direct about the fact that you had to be there on time or you're missing your boat and you're not going. So I started to get a little nervous. Lyft also could not find me a driver. So I had both apps at the same time trying to find me a driver. Eventually, Uber finally came through, and I looked at the estimated arrival time. It was 9:39, and my departure time on the boat was 9:40. Keep in mind, even once I get out of the Uber, I still have to run down the pier and find the place that I'm going because I've never been there before. So I was stressed. Luckily, I had a really great, nice driver. His name was David, who came in clutch. He was weaving in and out of the streets, getting me there as quick as he could. Now, all that to say, I got there and I did miss my boat, but they did let me go on the next boat. I just had to wait 30 minutes for the next ferry, which not a big deal. The island itself was really interesting. I did the audio tour where they had former prisoners and prison guards kind of narrate their experience and tell you about each different room and corridor that you walked through. They had a lot of great like background sound effects and noises to make it feel like you were actually in prison. So overall, I thought it was just a really interesting experience. And then honestly, just the boat ride was really pleasant. I got on the front of the ferry so that I could, see everything that was coming my way. And I expected that everyone would kind of be up and around wanting to take in the views of the bay and the city on the ferry. But honestly, a lot of people stayed inside seated, which sounds boring to me, or maybe I just have really low standards of what's interesting, but I was literally standing out on the front of the ferry by myself. So that was honestly a little bit meditative. I really enjoyed the ferry ride. But after Alcatraz, I took the boat over to a neighborhood, I believe called North Beach, which I don't know anything about that neighborhood, but it honestly was really cute. I had never been in that area of San Francisco before. I got lunch at a little place called Cafe Bistro, I believe. I just got a little breakfast place. It was like an egg scramble. Nothing fancy, but very good and pleasant. And then by that time, honestly, I was really exhausted from standing and walking all morning. So since I was right next to Chinatown, I did just stroll through Chinatown very quickly just to experience. And then honestly, after that, I was feeling very physically tired just from walking around and climbing up hills and standing all morning and the previous couple of days. And so I got on the bus and headed back to the hotel. I did go across the street. I actually found out there's an origami store right, like I'm literally looking at it right now. It's right across from my hotel room. And I didn't take any photos or videos there, but maybe I'll go back there tomorrow and take some. It's really cool. They also have this dog. Oh, I did take a video of the dog. They also had like a shop dog who, whenever I walked up to the store, was literally just standing in the doorway like a bouncer to the origami store. Very cute, very shocking, very unexpected, but I love it. And it was at this exact moment that I realized I was late for a meeting. Yes, sometimes we have to take meetings on vacations. We'll pick this up later.
Pushing back
All right. Good morning. As you saw, after that meeting, I went out to dinner, and I kid you not, you guys, it was one of the best, if not the best meals I've ever had. And I'm so glad I went because I was really on the fence. So last night was another solo dinner night, and I was kind of torn between, do I just do something casual, do takeout, or do I really treat myself and go out to a nice fancy dinner? And I decided to do that. I went to a place here in San Francisco called Rich Table. And honestly, when I was looking at the menu ahead of time, I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna be in love with this, but it's had such good reviews and I've had several people recommend it to me. And I told myself, you know what? I'm just gonna go be adventurous. So I booked a table at the bar and they took such good care of me. I felt like royalty there. They set me right next to the kitchen, which is kind of open to the restaurant. So I was able to kind of watch all the action over there, which was very much appreciated as a solo diner, you know, being able to be entertained while I eat. And I ended up getting the chef's tasting menu, which I did not expect because there was a lot of seafood on the menu. And I don't know if I've mentioned this before, but I don't really do seafood. I'm not a picky eater in general, but seafood's not my thing. And being here in San Francisco on the coast, there's a lot of seafood everywhere. So I was interested in the tasting menu, but I knew that it probably wasn't going to be for me. But my server was so sweet. She said that they could actually customize the tasting menu for me, which I don't know if I've ever heard of a fine dining restaurant doing that, but some of the dishes that were more seafood heavy, they actually swapped out for other non-seafood dishes, and a couple of them were even off-menu items. So again, I was feeling just like I was really getting the special royal treatment. And so I ordered the tasting menu, and everything I ate was so good. And the first course literally included like 8 small bites of various things on their menu. So I was literally sitting there eating a little bite of 8 different dishes on their menu, which was so cool because originally going in, I thought I was going to order 1 or 2 things, but by the end of the night, I basically tasted what felt like half the menu. So that first course was 8 small bites, and then I had 4 courses of like larger plate things after that. And oh my God, it was just all so good. And they just treated me so well. The service was so nice. And as a solo diner, they surprised me with a little bite before my tasting menu, which was a really nice freebie. It was, I don't even know how to explain it. And it's so out of my comfort zone. It was like an egg. You probably saw the video of it with some type of, I don't know, they said it was smoked, but it was like very runny inside, which I don't normally do, runny raw eggs. And it has, I can't even explain it to you guys. I mean, I'm making it sound really gross, but it was like very fancy and had caviar on top, which that was one of the only seafood items I ate was the caviar, because who's gonna turn down a free caviar? And so, yeah, I mean, that was, I looked on the menu, that was a $30 little bite. And I'm like, you're just giving this to me for free because I'm dining solo? That is so sweet. And then when my entree came, which was a steak, the guy who brought it out from the kitchen brought it to my seat, and my server, who was also the bartender, immediately goes, oh, wow. And I'm wondering what the surprise or what is so interesting here. And the guy who's delivering my food tells me that they actually swapped out the cut of meat for my steak, and the chef decided to give me a ribeye, which normally for this course, they give you a hanger steak, which is just a little bit of a lower grade cut of meat. But apparently the chef had extra ribeye on hand, and because I'm a solo diner, they wanted to treat me and give me a nicer cut of meat. And I'm like, what is going on? These people are treating me like royalty. And so, yeah, I don't know. I'm probably talking way too long about this dinner, but it was probably a 2-hour ordeal of just tasting so many things off the menu and feeling really taken care of. And yeah, it was just a really nice, indulgent self-care meal that was very expensive, but I am glad that I did. Now for today, I must admit, I am very tired. I feel like at most I've gotten 5 hours of sleep each night that I've been here. Like I haven't gotten more than 5 hours of sleep any of the nights, which is weird because I'm waking up at like 5 a.m. for some reason. And in theory, I could sleep more, but my body, I don't know, it just won't allow it because I normally wake up at 7 a.m. Central Time, which is 5 a.m. Pacific Time. And I don't know, my body will not go back to sleep. And I've always been an early riser, so like I'm not normally someone who sleeps in anyway. But it's weird because I'm so tired, but my body doesn't want to sleep. I think for the rest of the day, I'm just gonna take it easy. I don't know, I'll probably bebop around a little bit. I really want to go to Fabulosa Books, which is a bookstore over in the Castro, maybe pick up a book for the plane ride home. And then I would like to go explore a neighborhood I haven't seen before. I really haven't spent a lot of time on the west side of San Francisco in the 3 times that I've been here. Like I've never gone over to the beach. I believe there's a beach over there. I don't know. I guess you guys will find out with me. So let's see what happens. right. Hi friends. It's been a second since I've updated you guys. Yesterday was surprisingly busy. Yesterday was probably the day that I had the least amount of like structured plans. And so it was really just a day. Gosh, it's bright here. It was really just a day of exploring the city and jumping all around on my own. However, I did meet up with two lovely friends, three technically. In the morning, I went and grabbed coffee with Tyler from Pencil and Paper over in Chicago, which is a really adorable stationery shop. If you live in the Chicago area, go check them out. But I got coffee with him and just spent an hour or so chatting about life and business and being creatives and all that kind of fun stuff. And his husband, Eric, was off running an errand because they had to depart straight from there to the airport. So Eric was kind of finishing up some last minute things. But he was able to drop by at the end of coffee, and the three of us got to chat for a little bit. I'll insert a picture here if I haven't already, but that was just so lovely. I always love kind of, finally taking online internet friendships and turning it into real life friendships. It's just so nice and special. After coffee, I went down to the Castro again, which is the neighborhood, because one of my favorite bookstores is down there called Fabulosa Books. And I did actually end up purchasing two books. Shockingly not like a novel or memoir or anything, which is usually what I'm into. I got two poetry books. One of them is called Gay Poems for Red States, which felt very on brand for me. So I'm excited about that one. And then this one, the title really struck me. It's called Shame is an Ocean I Swim Across. I feel like shame is something that a lot of people struggle with, but especially queer people struggle with. And I didn't realize it at the time, but this is written by Mary Lambert, who, if you're familiar with the song Same Love by Macklemore and Ryan Lewis, Mary Lambert is the woman in that song that's singing, and I can't change, even if I tried. So I didn't know that when I bought it. That didn't register or click, but interesting. So one reason I got these is because A, I've been on a little bit of a poetry kick lately anyway, but B, poetry books are thin, so easy to travel with. By the way, guys, I have you propped up on a window and I'm a little nervous. You're just getting a ton of street noise. So I'm gonna, also forgive my hair. I haven't showered yet this morning. Anyway, after that, I took a Waymo over to an area of town that I've never been to called Seacliff, which is over on the northwestern side of San Francisco near the Presidio. I found this cute little coffee shop and I ended up sitting there for probably an hour, which I didn't expect. I was planning to grab a very quick lunch because I knew that I wanted to go check out the beaches. That was the whole reason I went over there. And so I went to this cute little coffee shop, got a dirty chai and a nice little biscuit sandwich, and ended up just sitting there for an hour because the vibes were good. And then I walked over towards Baker Beach, which is the beach that I decided to go check out. And I didn't realize it, but the path that Google Maps had me take was like through this really nice, I'm assuming very expensive neighborhood. And then suddenly I get to the back of this neighborhood and there's what looks like a private beach entrance. I don't think it was private because obviously I'm public and I went, but it felt like a private beach entrance. And so I walked through these trees and then suddenly I was on the beach, which it was very windy, very cold and overcast and foggy, but still incredibly beautiful and also just relaxing. Like after spending 3 or 4 days in the hustle and bustle of the city, it was so nice just to be by the ocean and hear the waves and seagulls, and honestly just a great way to spend the last day of the trip. So I walked down the beach. I was brave, took my shoes off so I could feel the sand in my toes, and then ended up walking back up into the Presidio area, up what they called the sand ladder, which was an incredibly steep, incredibly long kind of staircase, but more like a ladder kind of, up to the top of the Presidio. And by the time I got up there, I had to call a Waymo to take me back to the hotel because I was done. And I needed to get back to the hotel because I had dinner plans. I went and met my friend Jilly, who I used to work with at my old job. and we met at a new pizza place here called Jules, which apparently is all the rage. And it was good, except it was incredibly loud. The food was very good, but most importantly, it was just so fun to meet up with Jilly and get to hang out and chat with her. And then after dinner, we visited 2 different cocktail bars. I can't remember the name of them right now, but Jilly did a really good job at like making sure that we hit a few spots that night. She's an excellent tour guide. And then before we called it a night, we went over to Bob's Donuts, which I guess is a famous San Francisco institution for donuts. And I went in with pretty like mid expectations because I love donuts, but I've rarely had donuts where I'm like, this is life changing. But these may have been the best donuts I've ever had, and I think it's because they were fresh. I actually went to order one of the donuts that caught my eyes, and the guy who was working there was like, they're better fresh. And I was like, okay, well, what's fresh? And so he pointed out the racks of donuts that were actually fresh and had just been baked, fried. And so I ordered some of those. Jilly and I ordered some of those, and oh my God, they were like warm, melt in your mouth. They were light but dense at the same time. So good. The perfect way to end the night, if you ask me. And now it is unfortunately the next morning. I am just about to head over to the airport here. I'm looking at all the stuff around my room that I still need to pack up. But yeah, my trip in San Francisco is pretty much over. I did collect a bunch of little ephemera, if you will, while I'm here, like stickers and postcards and little business cards and things. So I am planning to do like a junk journal spread, just kind of documenting my trip. If I get that done, which will probably be once I get home, I'll be sure to include that in the vlog so that you can see that. I've been really into journaling recently. I'm not by far an expert or like make the prettiest journal pages, but it's been a really fun new kind of papercraft hobby. And honestly, being here and talking with Jilly, who by the way, Jilly makes really pretty stationery products as well. She actually designs and illustrates images of sea creatures like dolphins and whales and sea lions and things, because she lives here in the Bay Area and she goes whale watching all the time and goes down to Monterey and Carmel and just like is really into nautical wildlife. And she's been taking those illustrations and turning them into things like cards and stickers and postcards and things. I'll leave a link to her Instagram in the description, so be sure to go check her out. But anyway, being here and talking to her about stationery, and Tyler, who owns a stationery store, has gotten me even more excited about doing more journaling. So, I don't know. I think it's another papercraft hobby that is gonna snatch onto me, and we'll see. I'm along for the ride.